Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to today's Caffeine for the Soul. And you may notice there's been a golf theme emerging over these weeks, or I don't know, maybe broadcast order. This might be the first, so you can prepare for a golf theme. But one of the reasons for that is because so much of what is true in the game of golf is true in the game of life, and when it comes to skill acquisition, my playground at the moment, and for the last little while, has been golf. I've been teaching for over 35 years. You know, I was talking to somebody the other day, and they said, "You're really good at this." And I said, "Yeah, well, the thing is that I finished my 10,000 hours, 20,000 hours ago, so I really should be good at it. But there are other things where I'm very much actively engaged in the process of trying to get good at something, trying to increase my skill, and golf just happens to be the one that I'm playing with the most at the moment." So I've been following the work of these guys, and I really want to give them a plug because I love their work. They're called Easiest Swing, and I assume their website is easiestswing.com, but you can check them out online. And so much of their work is so common sense, and it applies to so many things beyond golf. And the particular thing that I want to talk about in this week's episode is there was an article that they posted on their site about how absolutely terrible we are at focusing on what works and how habituated we are to trying to fix what isn't working, and that the net effect of that actually completely works against us. And I thought, well, I teach about the mind, and I probably don't have this problem. And there was a very simple exercise they suggested, which is go out the next time you play. And they said, after every shot, either come up with 2 things that you liked about it, or if you really can't come up with anything you liked about it, just go, okay, on to the next. I found that almost impossible. It took me probably more than halfway through the game before I could do it for an entire hole, where it wasn't about, okay, well, here's what I need to fix, and here's what I did wrong, and why didn't that work? And I hadn't noticed how habituated I was to trying to get better by focusing on what wasn't working. And then once I started to get the hang of the exercise, it was amazing to me how quickly I got better when I focused on what was working. And I decided to start playing with it with my clients and see, well, is this kind of a universal, or was this just, my brain is a little negative? And so far, and please, I'd love you to test this for yourself and let me know how it goes. But so far, it seems really apparent that this is just kind of a cultural norm. We've somehow got the idea in our heads that if we want to get good at something, the trick is to focus on why you're bad at it and overcome that. I'll give you an example. I was talking to an actor, and he was struggling to learn his lines, and he asked for a coaching session. And I said sure. And he said, okay, so I said, what do you want to explore? And he said, well, I want to understand why I've gotten so much worse at learning lines. I think it's because I'm getting older and my brain isn't working right. But I listened to him expound on his theories for a minute, and I said, well, actually, I'd like to ask you a different question. I said, well, okay. And I said, instead of why are you getting so much worse at learning lines? What do you know about learning lines when it works? And he thought about it. I said, well, it's partly repetition, and it's partly kind of making logical sense of the flow. And he started going. And you could see within a couple of minutes, he was lit up, and he was excited about going back and learning lines. Now, I don't know if that sounds too simple to you, but I can tell you from field testing this, not just with my own little brain, but with so many people since I first started to see it, that it's kind of miraculous. So, to put this to the test for yourself, think about a skill that you'd like to improve at, and you'd ideally like to improve at as quickly as possible. And the next time you engage with it, just notice if you have a tendency to focus on improving something that isn't working or fixing something that isn't getting you the result that you want. And each time you notice it, just go back and go, well, what is working and how can I do more of it? What do I know works when it works? And you'll notice not just a shift in your feeling that I feel much more positive about it now, thank you. You'll actually watch your skill increase so quickly that it may well take you by surprise. So I encourage you to play with it. If you're a part of our online community, the Living from the Inside Out community, which you can join for free at michaelneill.org, I encourage you to share in the online group about your experience with it, and just enjoy watching your skill acquisition increase in pace, and watching you as you accelerate along your learning curve. Have fun, learn heaps, happy exploring, and I'll talk with you soon.